Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and this is going to be a weekend reads because it's been a few weeks and I honestly have not had time to film this for like 2 weeks now. We had a death in the family that was not unexpected but did hit rather hard. That was like she started going downhill last week and then this weekend she passed, and so this week has been a lot of like catching up and doing things and cleaning, so I have not had time to film. But here I am to talk about the few things that I read in the past 2 weeks. I haven't been reading a lot, like I said, been very busy. And wait a moment. Okay, I got my books. So I did read some physical things, I read some arcs, so let's get to it really quickly because it's like 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I want to go lay down on the couch. So at the top, I finished the Demon Slayer, Before Demon Slayer. This is a collection of shorts by Koyaharu Gotoge, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. I'm trying to learn Japanese, but I am not very good at pronunciation. I can read it okay, but I am not good at pronunciation. It's the German in me, I guess. I want to say things hard. But yes, these are shorts from before she wrote Demon Slayer. Now, my favorite one, of course, was the short. The very first one is the like prototype story that Demon Slayer is based off of. We see the early Tanjiro, we see an early Muzan, we see the doctor and her assistant. They are in there. The crows are in there. This is the story's title page. Absolutely loved it. Now there is also a story in here with a buggy person, so like it gave me maybe early Shinobu inspiration. There was a story with a fella who had like a very like cloth based weapon. He used a holy weapon that was very like clothy, and his attitude kind of reminded me of one of the demons from the later seasons of Demon Slayer. So like this was really, really good. I really enjoyed this. The style is very loose. It's not quite as polished as Demon Slayer was. Not that all of Demon Slayer was super polished, but that you could tell this is some of the earlier works for this mangaka. And I would read a lot more of all of these stories. I really do recommend it. If you like Demon Slayer and if you're interested in her early work, this is a fantastic thing to look at. It's short, it's easy, it's like little short stories, so a great installment. I might just be a little biased though because I do absolutely adore Demon Slayer, so take that with that disclaimer. Now let's talk about the bummers. Actually, there's a lot of bummers. I think I've had a few bummers, but the one bummer that really bums me out above all things, I was really enjoying the series, and this is why I believe very strongly in like some trigger warnings, spoilers for folks, because you can really not like something and encounter it in a book and it can completely ruin everything leading up to that. And that is, I finished Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, the series. I've read all 5 of these now, including most of the shorts at the end. So a lot of Danmei, when the series ends, there will be extra stories at the end that explain more about the world and the characters where they go after, or prelude stories, that sort of thing. So I really liked this. For all of this looks peaceful, this was a roller coaster of emotions. It made me angry, I was happy, then I was mad, then I was happy, and it had me going. I gave this one a 4 when I don't think I've given any of them a full 4 yet. This was like a 4, almost a 4.5. I really liked it. And this had the ending. The ending of this was perhaps like only maybe this much of the book. Like it was just this little part. Most of this is extra stories. And the end of this, honestly, I was a little shocked at some of the turn of things that happened, the relationship style that developed. And I was like, okay, whatever. Story ended, I was happy. But then I read the extras. And one extra in particular made my skin want to come off of my body in multiple ways. So I will go ahead and tell others, if you haven't read this, these two have a very consensual, non-consent kink. There's a lot of assault. They play at assault. They shout the R word at each other, or rather Wei Wuxian shouts it a lot, and he thinks that's like sexy or whatever. It really gets Lan going. And there is an entire like story where they're in a dream where Lan straight up assaults him, and they think that's sexy. And I'm like, no, it's gross. He's like screaming and crying and trying to get away from him, and he's like the version of himself that's watching this dream is like, oh yeah, that's awesome. It's not. And then later in the same story, he goes off and he sleeps with a 17-year-old version of Lan, and I'm like, I really hate it. So the longer I sit on this series, the longer I'm like, if I hadn't read those extras at the end, I would have enjoyed this. In fact, I would have kept this on my bookshelves, but as it is, now that I'm talking about it, I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to get rid of these because I approach my bookshelves like I approach a lot of things, is that when my daughter gets old enough to read things like this, do I want her to find this on my shelf? Not really. That's not for me. I don't want her to find this and be like, what is mom reading? So these are getting on hold. If you want to read these, I say read them, but know that that is the dynamic that comes much later on. And if you don't like that dynamic, read to the end of the actual story itself and don't read the extras. But for me, it was so upsetting and off-putting that I'm getting rid of those. Yeah. So that's the bulk of what I read last week. This week, I read a few things. I didn't read a lot the first couple of days in the week, but I have read a few things since then. Did I talk to y'all about Hollow? I did not. So I read Hollow by Karina Halley. I liked it okay. I gave it a 2-star. It was fine. I mean, it was very, I can't tell you anything about it. I don't remember anything about it. I read it a week ago and I still can't tell you anything about it. I can't remember it. It was very meh. It's a book I read. So I would say, I do remember at one point there is some spicy action on a horse. And has Karina Halley ever ridden a horse? That sounds incredibly uncomfortable. And if someone tried that with me, I would be breaking fingers. Like, hell no. On a horse? Y'all have red horses, right? Not red, but ridden horses, right? Like, you shouldn't be doing that on a horse. Good Lord. So that was something I read. I won't be continuing this series. I'll probably give Karina Halley one more shot, but this I was not impressed with. The romance was flat. The characters were flat. This was only the loosest of a Sleepy Hollow like inspiration. It was very mediocre. I really can't recommend it. Then I started a romantasy series on a whim. It was late in the night. I was watching a reel, and I think it was from That Girl Reads, and she recommended this series, and I thought, that sounds good. So I minimized Instagram and I went to Kindle and I downloaded the sample of the first book, and then I proceeded to read 200 pages of the first book, which is impressive because the first book's only like 250, 60 pages. And then I remembered I was in the middle of watching that reel. Let me finish that reel. Of course I had lost it. I had to go back and find it in my likes. But that's the Flame Cursed Fae. I read Of Blades and Wings in one sitting. Really enjoyed it. And then I read Of Frost and Feather a few days later. I am in the middle of Ash and Iron right now. I'm going to finish this trilogy this week. I really enjoy this. It's very short. Each book is very short. These first two are both under 300 pages. The third book is about 450, I think, so it's a little longer. But these were just really good for me. They hit right. This is a Viking romantasy about a young girl who has forever been in her sister's shadow because her frost magic, she is a frost elf in this Viking world, her frost magic never manifested. Instead, what she has is a type of memory magic where she can access any information she has stored in her memory. It's like a photographic memory, except she has to like take a moment and catalog things. She has a visual place in her mind she goes to, and she makes these ice sculptures in her mind that hold this information. And her parents use her as like this espionage tool. They don't actually speak of her as a princess. She is just her sister's like handmaid, and she goes with them on these big meetings. She holds all this information on these rulers, that sort of thing. Well, the girls are of age where a prophecy is spoken. A new batch of Valkyries have been chosen, And the prophecy says, princess of this court has been chosen to be a Valkyrie. Well, the Valkyries come to get that princess, but it turns out it's not her sister as everyone had thought. It's her. And no one understands, one, who she is, because again, her parents haven't claimed her as a princess, or two, why she was chosen, because she's very weak, she's frail, she has no magic. And it is about her in Featherstone, where the Valkyries train. She has to either train and earn her wings, or she'll die, or she'll end up back at home with a family that doesn't seem to want her anymore. So it is that story. I am eating this up. It has a talking animal companion that comes later in the second book. And the memory magic, I just think, is super fascinating. It's unique. And I like the vibes of this. It just has really good vibes for me. I can really see it in my mind when I'm reading it. And it just evokes a lot of really colorful images and just colors in general for me. So I am enjoying this series a lot. And I do recommend it. If you like romantasy, especially if you're looking for something maybe a little different, give it a shot. I was enthralled. Like I said, I read 200 pages in a sitting. May not be for everyone, but it was for me. The next thing that I read, I almost DNF'd this book, but I am glad that I finished it because I ended up enjoying it, maybe like a 3.5, and that is Spellcaster by Jamin Eve. This is another romantasy. Clearly, I am on a kick. I'm trying to read through my romantasies so I can read my epic fantasy because I want to get into my epic fantasies. But Spellcaster is about a young witch who is going to a college now that her magic has manifested. A lot of manifesting magic in these books. And I really don't like the writing style in this at all. This reads very much like a CW show. It's very pop culture reference. It's very casual in its writing. And I just do not like the writing. However, I stuck it out and it kind of ended up like a CW show, growing on me like a fungus. And I was like, I kind of want to know what happens. So I did finish it. I did end up enjoying the twists and turns. Is it something I would widely recommend? Probably not. But is it, again, something that is just kind of fun for the moment? Yeah, but don't go in expecting anything more than a cheesy teenage style drama show, because that's what you're gonna get. That is the vibes this brings to the table. So go in knowing that and you'll have a good time. I read some more manga, of course. I read Insomniacs After School, Volume 3 and 4. I continue to really like this series. The third and fourth volumes, they are gathering and trying to set up a festival to earn money and to solidify their status as a club at their school. And it's kind of talking about how that goes and or doesn't go. And now we're on to a new venture, and I continue to enjoy it. I don't know that I have a lot to say about these 2 volumes, but it is still working really well for me. And somebody commented on the last video, Chris, I think, and he says there is an anime, so I'm going to maybe try to watch that. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I do occasionally try to watch anime, so I may give that one a shot. And the last 3 things I read, 2 of which were not good, so they should be quick. I read If Not For My Baby by Kate Golding, and I absolutely hated everything about this. My biggest complaint, my biggest problem with this is that this is a real person fan fiction that has been traditionally published, and that is so gross to me. Very gross. I'm sorry, it's gross. This was a Hosier fanfiction, and if you are at all curious, you can read Hosier's Wikipedia page and then read this book, and you're basically just reading it twice. It's basically what's going on. I did not listen to the audiobook on this, and I have heard that people say the audiobook narration is really good, but the writing style representing him as he's an Irish individual, our hero, the writing style felt so stereotypical. He felt like every stereotype of an Irish person that you could put on a page. A lot of reviewers on Goodreads almost called it like a fetishized version of an Irish individual. And while I don't know if I could say that with any authority, it did feel gross. I was already grossed out with the Hosier part. This is about a female main character. I cannot even remember her name. I hated her so much. She was my least favorite type of heroine too. A little bit of a disaster character. And she is, through plot machinations that really have no realistic, reflection in real life, she is given a job as a backup singer for this super popular singer. His name is Halloran in the novel, but it's Hosier. And she has to go on tour with him in a few places and sing for backup, and he falls in love with her while they're doing it. He, of course, is Irish. She falls in love with his accent. And she is that character type that absolutely does not believe in love and doesn't believe in emotions. She has been leading on a friend of hers for years, treating him as basically a friend with benefits. And she's kind of, I couldn't stand her. She was a little reprehensible. And then Hosier Halloran, he had absolutely no personality. And this is just so gross to me because this is fanfiction of a real person, especially a real person who is notoriously private. And I just sincerely hope that he doesn't know that this exists because, yikes. The other not good one that I read, I didn't actively hate this one. I just wasn't wild about it. And that was A Fate Forged in Fire by Hazel McBride. This is another very meh romantasy for me. Another main character I couldn't stand. If you take the main character out, the story itself was very flat. It was fast-paced, yes, but there was no oomph to this. There was no connection in this. I didn't love it. It didn't feel original. There were dragons. There was fire magic. This was another like a Viking-inspired world. It felt or Scandinavian, maybe Celtic. It was kind of messy, and the pagan gods are being threatened by the one true religion. It all felt very done before, and the main character was the type of main character, another type of main character I don't like, which is the hothead, the I'm a badass for no other reason than I think I am, and I am angry all the time for no other reason than it makes me look cool, that type. I didn't hate the writing style. That was pretty okay. And there were moments where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But a very meh story. I will not be remembering the plot nor the characters in like 3 days. This is about a girl who has fire magic. Her family is killed by the royal family, and yet somehow she still ends up falling in love with said member of royal family. And she wants to bond a dragon to become the queen. You know, that plot. So again, not my favorite. Won't be continuing this series either. And the final book I'm going to talk about is my 5-star read from this week. The one book that carried me through the hardest part of the week for me. And that was Lucky Seed by Justinian Huang. And this is from, I think this is from Harlequin Avon. But this is a contemporary fiction family drama from the author of The Emperor in the Endless Palace, which I absolutely loved last year. This is, I can't even tell you who this is about because this has an entire cast of characters. This is, my phone's going off, I'm so sorry. It's got, so we have Wayward, who is a gay man who is trying to find his way leading this company that his grandfather founded. We have Roses, who is his aunt who leads the company, but she is obsessed with finding and or creating the next male heir so that the family can keep going and stay in family hands, or so the company can keep going in family hands. His cousin Lola, who's like a spider. She keeps everyone's secrets and manipulates things from the background. Sunburn, who is a himbo in the truest sense of the word. There's Shannon, who is his on and off again girlfriend. Like, there is so many characters in this, and they are an absolute riot and delight to follow. This has some serious moments. There is a character, April, who is still grieving and grappling with the loss of her infant son. That plotline was a little harder for me to read because I have that sort of history in my own past, but I still really, really enjoyed this and had a good time. I was laughing at parts. I was gasping at parts. The end of like the last 20 to 30% of this, when the family ends up like kind of trapped in this lodge together. Not really trapped, but they're all kind of stuck in this lodge together. Oh my God, the drama. It was fantastic. So I really recommend this. I don't normally read contemporary fiction, but oh boy, did this hit. And the writing style in this was really consistent and fantastic to what I have read from this author previously. As soon as I started reading the words on my Kindle, I felt that same flow and magic in his writing, and I loved it. It was great. This might be a new favorite author for me. We'll see. 3 is my lucky number. If you can make it 3, 5, or like 4.5 stars, you get to be like an auto-buy favorite for me. And he's sitting at 2. So we'll see what next year brings if he puts out another book. So that's everything I have read in this difficult week. I am currently reading Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon because I did pre-order, because Ruby Dixon is an auto-buy author for me. I did pre-order and I got the second book, so ow! I beat myself in the face with it. So I was like, okay, I actually need to get to this series and catch up on it. So I am reading the first one, which I've had on my shelves for a while. I am reading the third Flame-Cursed Fae book, which I mentioned earlier. That's of Ash and Iron. It's going to be coming to me soon. Yet again, I didn't change this. It's fine. I'm in a hurry. And let's see, what else? I have started Day Night, edited by Ellen Datlow, and I want to get my own copy of this. A funny story about this one, I started on the night side of this. This is another saga double where you flip it, and it's got day horror stories on one side and night horror stories on the other. I started the night side one, and I read the first story, which is about a trash man, like a trash truck pickup man. And in that, the trash bags are like coming to life and wiggling. And I was out at my in-laws cleaning. I put something in a black trash bag and turned away, and I was rifling through things. It started to move and like settle. But I had just read that short story. It started to move, and I went, ha! Like, it scared the shit out of myself. Broad daylight. I was like, oh my god, it's moving. It's gonna get me. So already off to a great start in that collection. Yes, that's the word that I wanted. And after I finish one of those, I am moving on to Apprehension and Red Star Hustle. This is a arc from Saga Press, so thank you, Saga. I love you very much. This goes on sale at the end of the month. The first story in this is by Mary Robinette Kowal, and the second book is by Sam J. Miller. I will tell you more about these when I start reading them, hopefully next week, when I hopefully get a video up on time. I haven't gotten very many arcs this week. I will do that again next week. But I need to go fetch my husband from my daughter's room so she can go to sleep and get this edited for y'all. Hopefully this will go up Saturday or Sunday. I have another big event thing going on tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. And no promises. Will see you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye.